everyone, my name is Sarah and welcome back to my channel, and today I'm going to be bringing you my most anticipated / books I'm most excited about for the first quarter of 2021 new releases. Could I have said that any more strangely? I've always paid attention to the book releases. It's just I haven't had the time in the last couple of years to actually read them as they come out. Hence, the entire bookshelf is full of backlog books. So this year I'm trying to maintain more of a presence in the new releases section, and specifically books that I'm excited about and or books I've heard about. So I made a list of books I am excited about and thought I would just kind of go through them. These are going to be only books that are published between January and March of 2021, and then I'll try to do these every quarter just for something to kind of keep me occupied and not have an hour-long video of books that I don't remember by the end of it. So how this is going to work is I'm just going to read my list of the titles, the authors, and what month it is released, and I wrote a few word summary of what I got out of it, and I'm really curious to see how these summaries match up whenever I end up reading these books, because I can tell you there is not a lot here in these summaries. But I think it'll be fun. We'll see. So the first one I have is Hall of Smoke by H.M. Long, and I wrote Mythology and Gods, smiley face heart. Yep, that's what's there. And then I have The Witch's Heart by Genevieve Gornichec. This is released in February, and I wrote North Mythology Reimagining plus Loki. That's the one where the main character ends up being married and having kids with Loki and trying to hide from Odin. I remember that one more. The Gilded Ones by Namina Forna, which is released in February. Oh, this is the one with the girls with the golden blood. They're immortal fighters and they kind of are, and our main character is given the option to leave her hometown and go and join this like elite band of warrior women. That just sounds really cool. There's The Wings of Ebony by Elle, released in January. And I wrote Modern World with Gods, cool. Then I have The Mask of Mirrors by M.A. Carrick, which is released in January. Masquerade plus con artist main character, sweet. See, you're really getting a feel of my personality with this more than what these books are about. And then there's Lore by Alexandra Bracken, released in January. And it's the idea of like gods are forced to become human again and like kind of live in this real world, which sounds really intriguing, really interesting. Especially with the gods of mythology who were always written more human than, you know, Christian gods. So I find that, I just think that there could be something really interesting here. Could also be a little boring. Kind of on the fence about that one. And then I have The Bone Maker by Beth Durst, which is released in March. It's the idea of the resurrection at price of your own life, and I wrote, whoa, intense. So from what I remember of this one, it's the idea of, it's a group of people who were heroes of this world, and they faced, and they were able to succeed in their mission or their goal or their quest because one of their numbers died. This takes place a few years later, and one of our main characters is trying to resurrect the man who died a few years ago because was her husband. And it's the idea of she's willing to pay the price to bring him back, and it's the price is her own life in a sense, where for every day that he's brought back she has to give up a day of living, kind of thing. And I find that concept really, really fascinating, because so often in stories like that, the person willing to resurrect somebody, willing to do whatever it takes, they're never really at stake of losing anything. It's kind of like what they're willing to do to others or to the world versus what you're willing to do to yourself. I'm really intrigued by this concept, and I'm really excited about that whole idea. Then there's Persephone Station by Stina Leicht, I think. That's released in January. And I got queer Mandalorian vibes from it, and I really like The Mandalorian, and I like queer things, and so I'm pretty excited about this one. And then A Winter's Orbit by Everina Maxwell is released in February, and I put Oopsie Murder and Love. Maybe they're innocent? Question mark. I couldn't even tell you what I meant when I wrote that down. But it's on my list and I'm excited about it. Okay, so then I have Sing Me Forgotten by Jessica S. Olson, which is released in March, which is a sort of Phantom of the Opera retelling with the character of, like, the Christine character, who's the opera singer, kind of taking the place of the opera ghost in the Phantom of the Opera, which I thought could be really fun, or it could not be. We'll see. There's The Lost Apothecary by Sarah Penner, which is released in March, and then it's this idea of, like, I wrote time travel question mark cell block tango. Because the idea is, it's the idea of, like, men are being killed by this mysterious poison, and it's kind of from way back in the day and all these different things, but it seems like those men had it coming. That's why I wrote Cell Block Tango, because they had it coming. This is probably one that I'm very excited about. I just think the concept is really interesting. I really love complicated, sort of morally gray things, so that could be really interesting. There's Honey Girl by Morgan Rogers, released in February. It's a queer married in Vegas love after time, which, okay. So it's the general idea is this woman who has been working really hard to get what she wants, ends up getting, I believe she gets drunk and then marries a random stranger in Vegas, and is trying to then figure out how to make it work with her new wife, and trying to figure out why she's not happy getting everything that she wanted. But I also love the idea of, it seems like her and her new wife are going to fall in love, but like throughout time, like it's not going to be like a love at first sight sort of situation, and I love that. I love romance stories where the characters fall in love with each other as we fall in love with them too. So I'm really excited about this one. Then there's A Tip for the Hangman, a novel of Christopher Marlowe by Allison Epstein. This is released in February, and I wrote nothing underneath it because I don't even know how to describe this weird spy novel about playwrights and Mary Queen of Scots, and I really don't know what is going on in here. It just sounds wild, and I'm really excited about it. And then there's Act Your Age, Eve Brown by Talia Hibbert, which is released in March. I adored the first two books in this series of the Brown sisters. I totally enjoyed the first two books in the Brown Sisters trilogy, so I'm very excited for the final one. I'm likely going to love it because why would I not? I love them. I love Talia Hibbert's work. I love her writing, so I'm super excited about this one. And then the last few books I have are The Conductors by Nicole Glover, which is released in March. It's the idea of a kind of supernatural-esque sort of detective mystery in relation to the Underground Railroad, which a lot, like, it just sounds really kind of creepy and atmospheric, so I'm really excited about that. There's also The Echo Wife by Sarah Gailey, which is the idea of this woman has a clone and her husband ends up having an affair with this clone, and then he dies, and I'm assuming the clone kills him, which sounds really, really intriguing. And then the last book on this list right now is The Burning Girls by C.J. Tudor, released in February. And I wrote, this reminds me of The Village meets Salem Witch Trials, question mark. Again, I just jotted down a couple of words that reminded me, or kind of made me I associated with the general summary that was written. So we'll see how they end up actually kind of playing out. That's just a quick list of books I'm excited about in the first quarter of this year. I am hoping to read at least some of them. I will not get through all of these for sure. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to make another quick video that's going to have like 5 or 6 5-star predictions for these books, and hopefully at least get through those books to have some sort of record and something to like follow up on. And then hopefully at the end of the year I can go back and kind of go through the books I ended up reading from these 5-star predictions videos, and hopefully as I continue on doing these I learn more and more about what I'm going to end up liking or what I think I'm going to like, sort of idea. But that's what I have for you right now. Let me know in the comments below if you're excited about any of these books, if there's any books I didn't mention that you're really excited about. I am just one person, and there's so many books being released every single month that it's hard to keep track of all of them at any given moment. So there are definitely some books that I will have missed. So feel free to share with me in the comments below any books that you think should be on my list or should be on my radar. And as always, thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope that you have a fantastic day.